They're on.
Whoa,
Make
that's
sure your
loud.
mics are on.
It now being 7 o'clock, I'm going to call this meeting of the Arundel Planning Board to order. Today is April 16th, 2024. We are in the municipal meeting room, and I'll start with a roll call from the far end. DJ Feldman, town planner, is here.
I'm making sure all of your mics are on. I gotta take care of you guys.
Appreciate it.
Method nor madness.
Zachary Shapiro.
Paul Green. Tom again.
Susan Roth,
I'm Rich Ganong, the planner.
you're the planner.
No, I'm not the planner. I'm the planning board chair. I don't want to
Surprise.
be the planner. We have one of those.
You make it soon enough, Mr. Chair.
It has been a very long, arduous tax season. It ended at 5:30 and I put a message on my phone. I'm closed. Do not call me. I'll call you back next week. Okay, so on the agenda, we have the approval of the agenda, approval of minutes of April 2nd. We have public comment. Then we have a public hearing, Glencoe Heights subdivision final plan. And then under pending business, we have Glencoe Heights subdivision final plan. And we have to sign some plans tonight before we leave.
Move to move with the agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Marty Kane, seconded by Tom McGinn to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Approval of the minutes for April 2nd.
Move to approve the minutes from April 2nd.
Second.
Motion made by Zachary, seconded by Paul Green. To approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Everybody was here. It is unanimous. On to the next item on the agenda, which is public comment. If you are here and have a comment for the planning board about something that is not on the agenda, now is the time that we would listen to it. Evidently not. Okay, we will move right on to the public hearing. In the public hearing, this is the time for you, the public, to ask the representatives of the project. Any questions you want, please come to the mic, state your name for the record, and then you'll be allowed to talk. So at 7:02, I'm going to open the public hearing on Glencoe Heights subdivision. The applicant is proposing a 13-lot subdivision on Jasper Lane, tax map 1, lot 18. The parcel is 51.49 acres in the R3 and the R4 zones. The plan includes 13 single-family homes. The project will have 900 plus or minus square feet of reconstructed roadway and an additional 1,100 feet of new road. Colleen Campbell is the property owner, and Dempsey LLC is the applicant, represented by Thomas Gillis. Does anyone from the public have any questions? Yes, please come up, state your name.
Good evening.
Good
evening.
My name is Cindy Novakowski. Cheers, everyone. I live on Jasper Lane, the first house, as you go around the corner. I did not see the final plan. I had come in to talk to Lee J, and I did not see the final plan yet. He still had the old plan. My only concern, of course, is around that driveway, but I did have a question about, first of all, where's the electric going?
That would be a question for Mr. Gillis.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear your question.
Where is the electric going? Is it gonna be poles underground, or where is it gonna run?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. These are your questions, not ours. These are your questions, not ours.
We met with the CMP. And it will be underground on this side in the new subdivision with the transformer that's servicing for. They suggested overhead on this side, just because the road's reconstructed and nature of the trees there, they thought it would be easier. That's something you guys, I guess, gonna have to decide. If the overground's fine, but the new, we know that a new subdivision, you want it underground.
Correct.
So this, they said since it's existing, they would do overhead.
Okay.
That would be,
And it's gonna be on the north side of the road?
no, it'll be on the other side. Now, I did send you a email showing you the relocation of the road.
I probably didn't get it.
Okay.
I was thinking,
But I did show you the relocated road around,
it's gonna go,
it's gonna be part of it.
right, yes, I understand that.
Part of the. There, that's the plan. There
Right.
it is. So we're
Yes.
actually.
It's going out a little bit.
Plenty far, still keeping.
Okay, and another question, because this is all gonna be, some of these are probably simple questions, but now there's gonna be a ditch. What's gonna go when you come to the driveways? It's gonna be a ditch on the Lee Road, right? On each side,
On this,
I mean, that way, I mean,
not on ours,
no,
just gonna be,
actually, the way he graded it. Yeah,
okay,
engineer graded it, so you're not even gonna notice, it's gonna blend right into your front yard.
okay, so it's not gonna change.
Well,
Right,
it
that's
is.
not, okay, well,
It actually worked out well,
that's even better as far as.
you'll be very happy.
Yeah,
Just wanted it.
no, I don't need one. No, I just, I just wanted, these are just questions that
No, it's fine.
I had that I didn't know the answers to. And the other thing was, I haven't not had a chance to look at the final thing, but where there was a discussion on this HOA and all of that, on what the homeowners that are existing there are going to have to do.
Well, my lawyer was supposed to look at the HOA, but all I can promise you is will be fair.
That's not an answer.
So the way I see the HOA is the responsible plowing. What's the other thing?
Maintenance.
Road maintenance, but as far as I'm concerned, we are planning on paying for this reconstructed road. And I never intended to assess anything extra for that. But once we get into the HOA, and you're gonna find the 13 new houses there, your plowing bill should decrease. The HOA says you're supposed to meet, and I'm guessing you guys don't meet all the time to discuss budgets.
No, we don't, but we are not going to be part of the HOA, don't want to be part of the HOA.
But
And I do not believe that we have to. I don't think that's, Okay.
It's a civil thing, and it's not something
It's-
the town should even be.
I think that
Well-
it definitely should be addressed before this is done, on what should be done for the three homeowners that now live there. And that you want to, extend that road and build those houses out there, yet you want us to maintain it for those 13 houses also, and I just
No,
disagree.
that's not the way the HOA is. You're not.
It doesn't matter,
Anything for the 13 houses.
Right.
That comes to your benefit. And I don't, again, this just came up probably 2 weeks ago, as far as, I just read the HOA first time. And I can guarantee you there won't be anything additional to your responsibility of the road.
That-
And remember, paving this road is probably something that your house.
That's not my question, though. My question's not about paving the road. My question is about what's gonna happen after the fact of the period. I was told that I was guaranteed that this would not be a problem, that the three owners would not have to pay for this road in any way,
No, you won't get that.
or any upkeep of it.
Well, you already paid for upkeep privately,
Yes, I do.
so it won't go beyond what you're doing now.
Hmm. That's not what I
But
was
you're
saying.
not paying for that road going.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, I'm not paying for an upkeep for
Well,
all
you
these
have to
other vehicles.
understand, if I wanted to, I could assess you, and I'm giving you my word now that I'm not doing it.
I'm sorry, I giving the word to me from someone that has probably changed things since the beginning. In the first time. Well, I was, when this first started, that my biggest concern was my septic, where the road was gonna go, which I agree that the road should go right in the center of the right of way. If that takes off of the property there, that's okay. I don't, what you have to do with all that is
But I
fine.
addressed both.
Right, and that's fine, but my other concern was where the, one where the electric was gonna go, and when this is completed, I was told that this would be, part of this would be that we did not have to take care of this road. We could just take care of our driveways.
This is the first time it's really defined. It's a civil matter, it's not something the board.
It's, I don't know what's civil about it, this is,
Well, you signed the agreement.
okay, there's one person that signed the agreement, that is, that, I signed a road maintenance, that was back when it was all changed, and to change the thing, I had to sign a road agreement. I was the only one that signed it, and my road agreement, if you had read it, which you probably
I
did,
did.
that I would only, at that time, I would only have to pay for half of the maintenance on half of my frontage. And that is the only road agreement that has been signed in that whole area.
Again, this is something the board should not even be considering. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna assess you even to the road. That's gonna be on record, right? I'm constructing the road, although I could. Giving you my word that I won't. Well,
Does anyone on the board have any input on this?
We will discuss this after the public hearing is over.
Okay. Because, you know, I've discussed it a few times now. I've come in for a couple of meetings.
Yep.
And I've discussed it a few times, and I was told that there would be no maintenance for us on the road anymore. And that was one of the stipulations that was made when this whole thing was finished and done. That's the only stipulation that I was told that would be done for us. The rest of it was a matter of working everything out to, you know, the middle of the right of way and those other things that I just didn't know what they were and wanted to know. But that is the one stipulation I was told that we could get, we were guaranteed.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. Anything else for the applicant?
nope, that's all.
Okay.
That's
Thank
all I
you.
have. Thank you. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any comments for the applicant? Yep. Oh, come on up. No, you go first. No. That's what it was sounding like. No, you go first. No, you go first.
Do I have the? Yes.
Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Katie Orlando. I'm the Executive Director of the New England Electric Railway Historical Society, doing business as the Seashore Trolley Museum. And we're in a butter, actually 2 parcels. And I just have a couple of questions about the proposal, if that's okay. We do intend to rebuild the former Atlantic shoreline right of way in the next few years. And so a few of our questions are just related to that, just wanting to make sure that the property owner and those involved in the build know that there will be a railroad at some point running through their backyard if the permitting goes our way. I just had some questions. I read through all of the plans and this isn't my field of expertise. So I just wanted to verify where the property lines exactly would be established in terms of clearing the land. And then I have a few questions about the drainage or retention pond, and then the setback requirements for the septic. It just wasn't clear in the drawings that I reviewed. So I just wanted to know if I could get those questions answered either here or in the future. And our concerns obviously at Seashore Trolley Museum are just to make sure that this development won't affect our ability to reestablish our track and operate our electric railway, which would include some overhead installation, our partnership with Revolution Rail and the rail bikes that We started last year's, that's the direction we're moving in. They're hoping to invest in that 2-mile extension from our current end of our main line to the end of Proctor Road in the next 2 to 3 years. So hoping to operate rail bikes first and then eventually bringing in the electric to be able to operate trolleys to that point. So those are my comments / questions.
Mr. Gillis, can you respond to the questions about the septic and the septic?
Well, we have a parcel in Arundel and also in Kennebunkport. Yeah, the little triangle right here.
So you're talking about putting a train there?
Yeah, there used to be an active railroad from 1902 to 1927. It's always been our dream to reestablish it, and we're finally at a financial point where we're able to. So, yeah, and
We're doing is we're giving 30 acres to the conservation.
oh, that's great.
Start somewhere here, giving them a lot at the end of the road, so they can build a conservation path to access this.
Good thing we're already partners with them.
Yeah. So you kind of will benefit from that because you're gonna get access on this piece. This doesn't show the train right here, but this green parcel, which runs along, is going to conservation as well as 30 acres back here.
Great.
So you're gonna have access. I'm planning, I did talk to Joan earlier about putting some parking here, probably 6 spaces. So people could actually come in and get to the train line. But that's something, and this is the first I've heard of it, so.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Just wanted to make sure. But,
3 months ago.
the holidays, we received our postcard after we got back from Christmas break. You'd already have it. Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's great. We saw the retention pond, which was great. There was one drawing that showed like the pre and post, like sewer, the drainage.
Yeah,
So I
actually,
just
the
wanted-
drainage to abutting properties. It's
Perfect.
that off. It's gonna take that into concern. Usually the engineers try to get it, but no change, but this one is decreasing, which is
That's good news.
kind of nice. Um, This pond will pick up all the roadway drainage and then kind of disperse it. But decrease it into that stream as well,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, like electric railroads are typically cleaner than the
Yeah.
stereotypical railroads. So I think there's some synergy there, especially if the Rundle Conservation Trust is involved. Yeah, we had some plans for the parcels that abut yours, but the endangered snake has held us back. So we're inspired that you've been able to get this far. We're gonna learn from you and see how we do that. But yeah, solar was what we had hoped to do with our parcel abutting yours, so. Great. All right, well, those are all my questions.
All right.
Thanks.
Next up for questions.
Hi, my name is Roz Anton. I'm the listing broker. I'm with eXp Realty. I'm representing Colleen Campbell as our agent. I just wanted clarification about the documents of road maintenance agreements. And Colleen, maybe you could just nod, make sure I'm with you on this. So yes, there's only one signature on this agreement, on this particular road maintenance agreement. It's Cindy Novakowski, is that right? Right. So on the road maintenance agreement, that was the first home that had access to it. So when other homes get built, they automatically agree to this agreement. And I could read you the language. It's just so you have clarity that it's not like one person signed it and 2 other people were missed. They weren't. They just built after the fact. And so when you build on a private road, after a road maintenance agreement has been devised, it spreads to the other owners automatically. Does everybody understand that?
Mhm.
Okay, so you guys are all good?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Since he,
Name, please.
No, please,
oh, Robert Richardson,
into the mic.
okay.
We're gonna trap you for posterity.
Last time we were here, he showed us an updated, what do you call it, map or whatever? The first ones didn't have the right of way or the parking lot. My question is, since he's decided to put this parking lot in, did he go back to DEP and get permits to put that in. Cause right now there's a pond right there. And the permits he did get, according to him, was for the road. Not to put a parking lot where there's a pond.
Okay,
So my question is, did he go back and get the permits that he needs to do this?
I don't need a permit. It's, and if we don't agree on it, this is just a benefit to the Conservation Commission. But it's just a matter of, there's about 30 feet between the pond and the parking space is gonna be 18 feet. We will not be impacting any wetlands as part of this. There's enough upland here that I don't have to go back to the DEP.
Okay. thank you.
It'll be on- Well, dedicated.
Any other questions by the public?
I'm Monique Adams. I live on Jasper Lane also. My confusion, I think, is the
Speak
homeowners-
up, please.
Sorry, my confusion isn't there a difference between a homeowners association and a road maintenance agreement? And because my thing is, I don't want to be told that I can't build a shed on my property and I have to pay somebody else to do it. When I was reading the homeowners association plans, that's why I'm confused.
Well, there's definitely a difference between a homeowners association and road maintenance. Two almost completely different things. The homeowners association won't affect you at all.
So I won't be forced to pay that $100 or $150 a month for a homeowners association.
Oh, I don't, we don't.
What?
What's gonna happen is we will sit down and agree and whoever will not become part of the homeowners association. I think that's really up to you. The homeowners association will affect the 13.
Okay.
And again, trying to tell you that I don't want to burden the pre-existing. Wow. And the 20 years, there's a pothole, 10 years, there's a pothole on the portion of yours. There's, you may be asked to kick in to fix that. That's, yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions?
Through the chair.
Hang on, Marty. If there are no other comments or questions, it is 7:21 and I'm going to end the public hearing. And now we will start deliberation. Yeah, Marty.
Now I wanted to ask the gentleman there,
Yep,
okay, where the existing three houses, or we're gonna call it the beginning of the section, is any of that part of that road gonna be upgraded or made look prettier or?
Yes. We're reconstructing that. They're getting an incredible benefit. Like I said, it benefits us to do. So it's gonna be reconstructed and it shows on the plans that that area is gonna be reconstructed. But the consideration, relocating the road, to accommodate any impact. And as far as I'm concerned, the road reconstruction is our, I'm not gonna throw $30,000 into these pieces, like, I don't think. Because again, it benefits us as much as them, benefits them more, actually. They're getting a brand new road, so the house, I'm sure that value to their houses. But as far as the cost of that reconstruction, it's on us, it's not. I haven't figured out the power and, you know, of course, we have to plow to get into our land,
Yeah.
but it's a fair plow there is, and they're already taking care of the plow. I don't have an answer. And we'll come to an agreement, so, you know, the way that it's written is they would just pick up their percentage, you know, it's, I don't know what they're paying for plowing now. Drove down here after the last snowstorm, but they did get a big fire. So this is a lot of snow there. But again, every road I've done, we consider the neighbors because we want to be good neighbors as well. And it's gonna go in there and assess them for something. That, again, benefits us as well as that.
Are the new houses gonna be paved also, the driveway?
New houses will be in the town spec.
No, I'm talking individual houses. Will they have a paved driveway or?
Who
So
owns
that,
the road?
Was that?
Who owns the road currently?
Right now, Ms. Campbell, when we purchase it, we will own the property.
Private
Including the road in front of the other three houses?
I have a follow-up question on that. So Jasper Lane with the three houses, it's never been public road, it's always been private. And the only, it had been, what, 4 or 5 owners to that? Through just the 3? Who, and he's not part of it, the one across the street from you, and then
Yeah.
and was the Campbell's part of the agreement?
Yes.
Is it in the book?
Yeah, the one that's over here, he doesn't need it, he accesses it off the top of the road. There's no need for him to be part of the homeowners association, but that's something the lawyer can get. I'm not interested in pursuing him for anything either.
We just- I think as for me anyways, I don't know about the board, but I think I'd like to see that this is all cleared up before approving, just to make sure that
Before approval,
to have whatever road agreement that I think not only the homeowner association agreement, I think we will have that in place. We have that.
road
Which,
maintenance
the ro-
agreement is recorded. It's there, it's nothing I can do.
so you said, someone said one person, the existing homes had signed. I think you had, just you. The other 2 hadn't.
They don't have to.
They don't have to,
Because
because they
they-
moved, they
Automatically.
moved and built after the road maintenance agreement was.
I guess I'm wondering my original question is who owned the road?
Yeah.
How did the owners of that road grant permission for the development to go down their road? So
In the maintenance agreement, it says any future development,
not for the future, but but right now it's controlled and owned by 4 owners. The
No, it
Campbell
sounds like
3.
one.
Three.
What about all your property, the Campbell property that's not one of the owners of that road?
Well, the person that owns this also is part of it because
So that would be a 4th.
they have to have access. to
Right,
it.
so that'd be a 4th person. So, and I can see the 4th person being all 4. Having the road go all the way through, but the existing 3. Wouldn't they have to have given permission for the road to cross?
No, if it's already in the agreement, then.
What, I guess I'm confused with the agreement.
If the agreement says that it allows access to future buildings, then by signing it, you're already agreeing to it.
Okay, so there was an agreement that had
That's what I
already stated
assume.
that.
Isn't- I haven't seen the contract, so the road maintenance agreement.
I mean, I think the bigger issue is not about any agreement, because agreements can be signed and be meaningless.
Yeah.
The issue is who has title to that property,
Or maybe that,
and.
Well, that's why it
and-
has to own it.
Yeah, and who, yeah, right, who owns it, who has title to it? It seems to me that it's an existing way, private or public at this point, that 3 people have access to. And, regardless of any improvements that are being made, it seems that those folks that currently have access to that property should continue to have access to that property. You know, it's the other 13 houses that are gonna go down there that are gonna need to have that road further maintained in order to be able to get to it. I mean, I think, you know, if delays are needed, Tom, you're suggesting, you know, I think that there's a need to clear up the access issue. I mean, we could certainly bring Leah into it and
Well, I don't know if I need that, now that I heard that there was the ownership that allowed for development. That's a piece that I was missing. I didn't know that it was.
Yeah, but either way, if the field never owned the road to begin with, it doesn't matter if I agree to it or not,
Okay,
right?
so
If my understanding is correct, whoever owns the road,
The road is owned by this parcel.
for the roads that's in front of the existing three houses, it's owned by the owner of the, okay.
The road goes with this. Now, under the maintenance agreement, I could assess them their frontage for the new pavement.
Right.
But I've already represented that I'm not going to.
No, I understand.
So
So Lee J, I have a question.
Yep.
Since I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that you happen to be sitting in your chair for this meeting.
Into the mic,
Um,
into the mic.
Is this really something for the board to discuss? I mean, is in fact whatever the developer works out with the three houses, is that between the developer and the three houses, since he has legal right to the road? And we would encourage him to come to some written agreement with the other houses so everybody understands what's transpiring. And so there's complete transparency, and should we just let them duke it out themselves and adjudicate the matters that actually belong to the board?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I have certainly proposed in my proposed conditions of approval that the HOA or road association be responsible for maintenance of the entire road from Proctor Road through. If you look at the survey that has been included in your plan, it would suggest that Proctor Road is pinned, which means I'm not sure by looking at the survey who does own that road. It certainly is not one of the parcels that is shown on the plan, on the survey plan.
Mhm.
So I think there needs to be clarification to the title on this.
And do you have the answer to that question?
it's very clear that the plan that the surveyor is
Who has title to the road?
Colleen's.
Colleen has title to the
Yes.
road, and she is the seller or the developer of the property.
Yes,
She,
she's the
yes.
seller
yes.
for the developers.
So wouldn't that title go with, when the sale is completed, wouldn't that title be transferred to the new owner?
If the town ever accepts that portion of the road, then
Well, we're not talking about making it a town road. Let's not go
okay,
beyond that, except,
future, since we're looking at futures here, that I'm not suggesting the town take it.
no, but what I'm saying is she's selling him the property.
Mhm.
And with that goes the conveyance for the road as well. So then, are you just not sure that she has the right to convey the road when she sells the property?
Well, clearly does, because those lots were broken off and the town, the private road was left out of it.
Well,
They have
hold
no
on.
title to that.
So Lee J, what are your thoughts? I mean, why do you have a question if that's the case?
Well, again, I mean, if you look at, even if you look at the proposed subdivision sheet, see, S1. It is. What I'm seeing on that plan, again, based on this, whoever did the survey work. From lot 1 and lot 13 is pinned. And again, it comes back to who owns the road from lot 1 and 13 back to Proctor Road. Because
Right.
it is not clear.
I think it's very, when you say it's pinned, you're talking about survey markers being,
Yeah, it's showing that's where the ownership is, huh?
yeah, and there
Right.
are pins along the left side there. And they're not in the private road, they're off the private road. I actually laid out the center line myself, I found all those. And they're 25 feet off center line, and that's where the pins. It's clearly a private road. Oh.
So
We had the title work checked by Phoenix Title before putting this on the market. And the deed description describes that road as being part of her property. We, Colleen and I straightened that out with another buyer who had it under agreement prior to. And when she engaged me to help her sell the property, I worked on it privately with her for 6 months, 7 months, just to make sure we had it all clear. There was no issue with subdivision, no issue with, road maintenance agreements or anything before putting it on the market. And the people I worked with was attorney Patrick Thornton at Phoenix Title.
So do you have a copy of that?
I've seen plenty of title work that's missed a lot of things
Mhm.
by many title attorneys.
That's why they have insurance.
I've had titles.
But you don't usually see it get done in advance of putting it on the market, do you? No, I know. So,
So do you have a document that actually shows that the road is within the title
it's her deed.
of the deed of the entire piece that she's transferring?
I believe it's in part of your packages.
Yeah, Lee J should have that.
I think
I
he's
think
running
you
back.
just want to go get it.
I would imagine that the deed was submitted as part of the original application.
Mhm.
What
Sure,
we
that-
have is, Colleen owns, a parcel of land. Divided lots, right? So you own a big square piece of land and you go, okay, lot 1, I'm gonna give to the first person. I'm gonna give them access off a private road, create a road maintenance agreement to divide another lot. That person who automatically owns that,
Mhm.
automatically is attached to that road maintenance agreement. By virtue of purchasing the lot, right? I was hoping that was gonna help, but yes, it's in the deed.
But I guess if I understand what Lee J is saying correctly, he can see on this plan where the pins are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't identify who owns the road.
Right.
Because there's a section here that is not attached to any of the lots that road is on. And that's becoming one of his questions, because I can see where the conservation lot is. But the lot across from that, there's no way of identifying.
Okay, so I'm not exactly familiar with what you're looking at.
It's in the packet right in front of you
I'm looking at this.
on the table. It's the
This is F1.
second page.
This is what
third
Lee J
page.
was referencing. It's this area down in here where you've got pins and coming out onto
The
the road.
third page total from the beginning.
All these are.
Yeah, from the beginning.
Go out
right there.
the state road.
But it's,
That's the one.
I think he's
Got it.
talking
Next.
down in this area.
No, it's pinned right out in the road.
But who owns that little section between the houses? I think that's what Lee J is.
So.
There we
Okay,
go.
And
This is why we need.
if you look at the tax map. Certainly it's noted as a private lane.
Yeah.
But it is not associated with any of the parcels down there. If you look at some of the other private roads that we have in town. It's either open on the end, which is to serve the front of the parcel or side parcel. This does not suggest that. So I would be interested to find out who has title to the road.
Would you give me a minute just to look up the deed on my phone? Thank you.
This is that road. And it is included in this parcel.
No, it's not. It's closed off.
No, that's a time course. It's not a separate.
This
lot.
is showing it as a separate parcel.
Okay, BJ, how are tax maps made?
What do you mean, how are tax maps made?
How do they come up with the information?
Deeds.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
and they're done by a consulting firm that just takes whatever they have. And a lot of times lines are put on there that shouldn't be. This is a tie course. It's very clear that's a tie course. I think it's even dashed, they don't have the full size. Look at it, okay, this confirms. See how that 50 foot is dashed?
Yeah.
Okay, over here,
Tom, Tom.
Yeah.
And if
Good
you
question.
look at private road.
Well, thank you. So where was that dash line? I was,
there's a dash
Not big.
line between them,
right here?
not on that.
No,
one.
the one before it.
It's very common for a surveyor to put a tie course,
Well, we're gonna get the deed. She's gonna pull up the deed.
but again, I think. Kind of getting involved in a. Private matter. That really shouldn't be. Considered. but
Well, I
that's-
think
that's
who
part of
owns the
the-
road is definitely something to consider. So let's see what the deed says.
Okay, I don't think it's in the details.
Well,
You'd have to calculate the whole parcel and make sure that that area is included in. Parcel, and I haven't done that.
the chair. I have a question.
Sure.
Is there a road agreement currently that is in place and registered?
Yes, it's recorded.
So it's recorded,
I assume that was the document that she had.
right?
I don't know what she had.
And that does list Jasper Lane and the lots off of it.
Yes, it does.
That takes care of it.
I think it's very clear. I mean, if you. It's,
have we seen it?
it's
though?
kind of critical that this gets approved tonight, because the time constraint is, out. But if you do it conditional on a legal opinion on who owns that, that's fine. Then if we don't own it, then the approval is void.
Fair.
But I'm willing to bet anything that it's owned. I've looked at enough of the stuff.
The lady, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Yes, she wanted to make a comment about,
Okay. The road maintenance was not done when I moved in. It wasn't done until she sold the piece of land to my nephew and redid my property. Already owned, and she redid it, and then she made a road agreement for just me, not for herself. She still lived there. So the road agreement was on one house, which was mine, not on hers, until she sold it. And then she sent the road agreement to that person. And then the third house came in and then she sent it to that person, but there was never a road agreement because she was one that originally owned it. Never offered, this told us what we had, the one that road agreement never offered for any kind of thing to be done about doing this properly, legally, or anything else. I didn't know anything about it. I lived in Florida for years and I didn't know that you had to record these things, but nothing was ever done legally on this road agreement. I've taken care of it.
What do you mean by legally done with?
There
the
was
road
never,
agreement?
the road agreement was done, it was never, everybody getting together and deciding what to do. We took care of it.
Right.
And then with, she sold the house and the next person had moved in, they helped me by, when we're not there, by plowing stuff, but we bought the plow, we did all the road maintenance and did everything. Because there was no agreement ever made when she lived there.
Well,
I didn't know there was supposed to be.
I think we're getting too far afield. Lee J, if there's a recorded road agreement, that
Yes.
still doesn't tell you necessarily who owns the road. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so who owns the road supersedes any road agreement. Is that correct?
It's a private right of way.
I would
You
say
do
that,
a
yeah.
road agreement, you've established a private right of
and
way.
it,
Right? But
it's-
Lee J said
Yeah,
that
if-
title. for
If the person who
road
owned the road then enters the,
Supersedes any road agreement that they might have
but
signed,
sure, but if you own the road and then enter a road agreement with the same person, then it doesn't,
but we
that's-
don't know that.
right.
Because I had no choice. I think I
No,
can say.
but-
I have one more comment before he.
Well, just-
hang on,
just
hang on.
Hang on. So what does the deed say?
Well, this is Colleen Campbell, we'll start with her first.
Right.
Okay, I bought this property and lived there in the second house for quite a few years. And then when my sister came from Florida, she moved into the front lot. And that is when Jim Nagel told me that it becomes a right of way and that I would need a right of way written up, agreement written up, and that's when it was done. And then each time, like I sold my house and Monique
had a copy of that also because it follows through. And then my niece who's just moved in also got a copy because it followed through for her. And originally, the survey was done for the entire frontage, which included what is now the right of way, which was just a driveway when the survey was done. Or it might have been done in the middle of all of that, but anyway, I had the whole thing surveyed. And that was part of the frontage. And I was told by Jim Nagle that I was responsible to make the right of way agreement follow through. In other words, for them to take care of the road. And as long as I own property, the rest of the property, that was my responsibility. So as far as I know, I do own that as part of the, what's left, 50-something acres. And then when it sells to these gentlemen, it goes to them.
So,
That is how I learned it from the town hall.
so if I heard you correctly, you own the entire parcel from Proctor Road all the way back. And you had, your house was the only one on it originally,
Yeah.
and then you split off a few lots and it was, but you still own the property. Okay. That clarifies it for me. I don't, the title is another thing, but
Once you sign that road agreement though, and everybody signs up to the maintenance to it, then it becomes a private right of way. They can't go back after and say, no, you can't, you don't have rights to your property anymore.
oh, I
It's
understand
become
that.
right away.
I understand that, but this is transferring, what I want to be cautious of is transferring one road agreement into a larger road agreement. But it to make sure that it was all proper.
Yeah, but are we even involved in that?
No.
So then, what does it make?
Well,
I mean, to the board, I'm not saying in general, but like, if it has nothing to do with the approval of the
I think,
subdivision,
I don't know, the
right? The
correct
town's
way to
not
answer
ma-
that. I think if someone came and said, I own 40 acres behind you, and I have a right of way, you know, I think we should be cautious of having neighbors be on the same page. Otherwise, things,
But
I don't want to cause due hardship for someone else unnecessarily.
I think we're way off the
So-
reservation.
Well-
Originally, when the application was submitted, right title and interest was submitted with the application.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard
And-
these concerns
But that's,
before now. That's what the public hearing was for.
and I understand that.
So I want to
But
catch it now.
it is standard process for us to get right title and interest before it ever gets to this level.
Right.
So if that's not there, and I'm going to assume that that is there, because if it's not, we've got other issues to deal with. And so I don't quite.
Do
know
we
how to
have,
handle that issue?
we must,
I
I'm
think-
assuming we had the title.
I think my question then is, was that right title interest submission for only the proposed development property? Or did that include the roadway that's being
would-
redone as part of the project?
It's, I don't, that's a good question. I
Right.
don't know, but I would assume
think Lee
that
J's
it meant, it
yeah.
included the roadway, but Lee J would know better than I do.
Well, I mean, when you talk right title or interest, a purchase and sales agreement covers right title or interest.
Sure.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily need to have the deeds to the parcel. Or, anything to that extent. I mean, this issue has come up, by, Cindy, and met with me a couple of weeks ago. Until then, I do not read every deed in depth. To try and understand the description of the parcel description and the whole bit. If someone submits something on the face of it, they're showing that they have title right or interest until an issue like this comes up.
Mhm.
An issue like this comes up, if it's gonna get into a quagmire, that's when, I usually wanna say time out. Let's get our attorney involved to review the documents and make sure we understand where we're at. So, I think if we're gonna get caught in that quagmire, then we're gonna need to call time out. And ask Leah's office to review the deeds.
I don't think you need a timeout. I think the easiest way is to get the surveyor. You get this thing approved so you can move on. The surveyor gives you a letter of opinion. If we don't know that, then the approval is void.
So just
No.
hold on a second. So, sorry, Paul. So Lee J, you know, we've let it get this far.
Yep.
And, you know, to be fair to them,
Yep.
the developers,
Yep.
it's like pulling the rug out from underneath them. So I don't have any problem with having Leah take a look at it and whatever, but we can't leave them
I mean, that's
in
your call.
purgatory.
That's your call. I
Well,
can
that's
only
sort of,
recommend.
so I think we have,
With,
have to find some kind of.
It's my understanding that
It
this
would
is the
have to be-
first time for public comment on this, right?
So the
No.
Third time. And, but it's the first time this has ever been brought up, right? Okay.
yes. This would, we could issue a conditional approval based upon an opinion from Leah.
I think it's fair.
And at least that would allow us to move forward. If it comes back that they have all of the proper documentation, they'll know and they won't have to come back here to see us again. They'll just be able to start doing the work.
Yeah, I think that's the fairest thing.
The
Paul?
chair. Is the question, and this is for both of you folks, okay? Is the question really the issue of, are you guys gonna be responsible for part of the maintenance agreement after all this is done? Is that really the only question left?
Could be. I mean, I gave him my word and it's
Uh,
on.
well, hang
So
on.
No, but answer Paul's question. Is this
Let-
really about just who's going to maintain your portion of the road?
Yes, but I brought this up at the beginning. I did not wait until 2 weeks
I-
ago to ask about this. This was addressed to Lee J in the very beginning. This was my concern from the very beginning.
So we
And
we can
I get
address,
it, whether we got it or not, I'm
Okay.
just wondering, I'm trying to get to the point of what's the
Yeah.
real issue here, okay?
but if,
Can I just ask one more little question?
hang, hang,
Well, just
hang
wait a
hang on,
second.
hang on just for a second.
Don't
If
have a-
that's the real issue, we're going to resolve that in the notice of decision, because one of the conditions is that the current homeowners on the street shall not be billed for maintenance of the street.
Yeah,
So
that
you
was-
will not be,
that was what's
responsible.
at the very
So-
beginning.
yes, and that's why it's in here.
Right, and can I just ask one little simple question, that comes, I'm a maintenance agreement, okay, when I read, I don't have mine with me, but it did say on there when, okay, each person buys another part of that land, they get, are continued on the maintenance agreement. But yet they get their own maintenance agreement, they're not continued on the one that's already there. So, you know, is that okay?
But he's basically saying to you that you're gonna pay your proportionate share.
No,
So,
this is saying that they're not.
This is-
right, but what he
just
was
getting-
just
getting
saying
the-
now
Yeah.
is
So-
that, you know, you have some responsibility for the little portion that you're currently
So that-
maintaining.
And that's
So
what he's saying.
Rich is saying that this agreement is saying that you don't have any responsibility because they're going to take care of
Current
You're gonna
homeowners
take care
on
of-
the street.
So-
their
Not a
portion.
bad
of the
deal.
road.
And that,
So I think
if
this,
tonight, if it's resolved tonight, I might change my mind.
This comment,
It's
Mr.
not a bad deal for them.
It is, and it's a great deal, for them. They get an increase in property value, plus they don't have to worry.
yeah, but
about
that's not what you would agree to earlier, Tom. You said
it. I
that
said
they,
gonna charge-
they're not gonna be responsible for rebuilding the road, but
That's-
after it's all rebuilt, they were gonna be part of maintaining it, just like everybody else.
If this is the
So
only
for
thing.
plowing, for 20 years down the road to rebuild it, whatever.
If this is the only thing that's holding it up, I will agree to that.
Thank you. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They get a big
Are you
bonus.
happy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
then you should codify that
Send it right here.
in writing, so that everybody's happy.
Yeah, right there.
Well,
It's been in my
they should all sign it. And you should say that you've all come to agreement, that you exactly understand what you're getting and what your responsibility is. You understand what that is,
Yes.
because really, that's a very, what you're concerned about in the scheme of this whole
I understand
project
that, yes.
is,
Trying to get.
you know, something that should be able to be resolved tonight so he can move forward.
Yes, that's fine.
okay,
Okay,
Good.
Bye.
Good.
okay.
I think we have,
Well, yeah, we do have that, but we do need to put in that we want Leah to look at the title.
yeah,
And no offense to the survey guy or to anybody else. But Leah's ours.
we need to have
but,
titles.
but, so Lee J, if she removes her objection if this gets agreed that she doesn't really have, the three houses have no real responsibility for the maintenance of the road. So she's freed or liberated from that, then, and they all come to agreement and they sign it. Do we still need to contact Leah to find out who technically owns the road?
And,
No,
Okay,
oh, see, because I would have said yes, because we want to know
no, because they've all agreed.
Yeah,
what happens when they're gone and somebody comes along and goes, it never should have happened because you don't have proof that you had
And
the
it'll
right to
go
do so. We should resolve that issue now.
No, I disagree. Well, I disagree.
I guess
Anyway.
the safeguard to that would be that to keep the condition as proposed in the findings that states that they won't pay.
Right.
So that's a backup position so that they walk out of this room tonight and there's a renege on the deal for whatever reason, then you have covered it through the condition.
Okay.
it's fine. And I think the surveyor is higher up on the totem pole than the lawyer, but we'll get something from the surveyor as well. Just so everyone's happy.
Okay.
Just make it nice and clean and
Yep.
simple. Everybody signs it. You're all in agreement, get it notarized, put it in a safe deposit box and call it a day.
I do have a
Yes, Tom.
second question. It's not nearly as challenging as this one, but on you said you proposing some parking spots on that first
Just
lot.
for conservation, I guess the neighbors raised a question of the potential of people parking in front of their houses. going to
Which is,
conservation.
which is,
We're giving this parcel to conservation as well.
Sorry, I didn't mean to read this.
I did a sketch where I
I
did
don't-
an
I mean, I
eight,
do disagree.
but I'm
I do
probably gonna do
disagree.
6 spaces here.
okay,
That won't need any additional permits that are. They fit in there nicely. I actually stopped there, wait to make sure. Plan reflect.
so that parcel will be deeded over to the conservation. Okay, all right, then.
Conservation. plan.
Okay, the
That.
Arundel Conservation Trust, which is great.
And the other thing that Joan and I talked about. Is that the association here will maintain this even though it's on conservation area.
Okay,
They're gonna maintain this pond.
well, it's just a minor little issue. I think it's more clerical. It's part of your proposal. It doesn't include those parking spots. So maybe once it's deeded over, it's your ownership
Yeah.
to add those on later after the fact.
So that's,
So it's not your proposal, it would be the Arundel
Theirs, yeah.
Conservation Trust proposal.
that's a great question, Tom. And actually, I was going to speak up the same time you did about that very issue, because I know that there was the question from the public about it. Is that I think from a procedural standpoint, the way to do it would be to deed that parcel to the Conservation Trust.
Mhm.
And then if Mr. Gillis or whoever else wants to put that parking in on their behalf, then if there's a need for a permit by rule, because they are allowed by permit by rule, which is just filling out paperwork and sending it to the DEP, up to 4,300 square feet of wetland, then it's on the Conservation Trust and it's not on the developer at that point for any additional wetland impacts.
Sure.
And that way, you know, that can be much cleaner and handled that way, and Mr. Gillis can still do the parking if he chooses.
away at this point.
No, no, it would not.
But since they're a conservation, what is it?
Trust.
They probably don't want pavement there that's gonna run in. You probably want it gravel. But that's
Yeah.
up to you guys. We'll do whatever you want.
Okay, good. Okay. That's the only thing.
Any other questions? Yeah, Marty.
Question, sir. These are the ponds to be maintained by the 13 lot owners.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of conservation are they gonna do to the pond in the future?
Probably just leave it alone and let it function.
Well, no, normally ponds have to be taken care of.
We're not having
Right,
responsibility to do that.
correct. I figured in the association fee that these guys would throw in a yearly cleanup of it.
Like what?
Well, go in and take all the leaves that these people threw in there when they were cleaning the yards. To get them out of there. That was a joke.
Okay, yeah.
Just
No, I'm
do whatever
just-
they have to do to clean
No,
up.
why I'm asking that is that a pond in the past always has been like a, thing for, fire, but it's not, okay? But a fire pond has certain requirements to be done. So it doesn't become,
Yeah, they fill in after a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking is.
Right, it's built to not fill up and stay full of water, it's built to slow down everything. And then eventually get out to this, so it's not like you're gonna see standing water in there.
It's not a fire pond, Marty.
No, I realize it's not a fire pond. I'm saying, just what kind of maintenance is gonna be done on the pond itself, not saying it is a fire pond, it's not. I'm just wondering what overall maintenance would be done on a yearly basis.
That doesn't really impact his permit though, does it?
Just asking a question.
I understand. I'm just,
No, but if it's permitted through DEP, for example, I mean, it's got an outlet structure. They probably require yearly inspection. And if it needs to be maintained, cleaned out because of any silts or anything that pile up in there, then that would have to be done in order to continue to allow it to function properly. But you mostly want those ponds to kind of go back to the wild, if you will. Eventually have cattails in there and that sort of thing. I mean, I live in a development where I've got 2 ponds in there. And we're supposed to maintain a grass level of at least 6 inches in height and not cut them any more than 2 times a year. And I've got the developer comes in every year and cuts them every other week. Which they're not supposed to do, but they do. But these are supposed to be just left and let them go, but inspected on occasion to make sure that the outlets are operating correctly.
We'll write it in the homeowners association that it must be.
That's a question that I'm looking at. Do we have the HOA agreement?
Yes,
Okay, I didn't know if we did. I don't remember.
Yeah.
One of our.
yeah,
I'll-
no,
I'll
It's,
amend
it's,
this to-
it's probably
in
out
this
in my
book.
briefcase,
Yeah,
it's in this book.
which is out in my briefcase.
Yeah.
I have a copy.
I just wanted to make sure we had one.
Yes.
Yeah, we have received everything that's required of the applicant.
Any other questions by the board? So we need a motion to either accept or reject, and then I will read the findings of fact.
I'll move that we accept as presented and with the one condition being that we search for, make sure there's a clear title.
no,
No,
we don't have to.
we don't have to.
If they make an agreement among themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
If everybody's that, good, no sense. Clogging
No.
things up. All right, so we'll just accept it as proposed.
Well, we
Second.
could give, we could put a condition in that he signs an agreement with the 3 homeowners.
There are.
It's already in there.
There are 3 proposed conditions.
Right.
Back.
Okay, so we're all set.
Yeah.
So we don't have to
Nope.
recondition anything. Okay,
Is there a second?
Second.
second.
Okay. Tom McGinn made a motion to approve. Paul Green, I believe.
No, it was,
Zach.
Was
Zach.
you the
Zach.
second? Oh, that was Zach.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zach,
Okay.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, this is me being skeptical of my ability to take notes. Zachary seconded the motion. Town of Arundel notice of the decision, finding of facts, subdivision application, Glencoe Heights, Jasper Lane. The developer is Tom Gillis Dempsey LLC. Project 13 lot residential subdivision, tax map 1 lot 18. The applicant submitted a sketch plan on July 6th, 2023. An initial preliminary hearing was held on September 7th, 2023. A preliminary subdivision review continued on December 5th, 2023. Subdivision completeness was approved on December fifth, 2023. The applicant has requested 4 waivers with this application submission. 7.2.d.10, a high-intensity soil survey by a registered soil scientist. Wetland areas shall be identified on the survey regardless of size. 7.2.d.11, the number of acres within the proposed subdivision, location of property lines, existing buildings, vegetative cover type, and other essential existing physical features. The locations of any trees larger than 24 inches in diameter at breast height shall be shown on the plan. On wooded sites, the plan shall indicate the area for clearing for lawns and structures to be permitted. 7.2.d.24, an estimate of the amount and type of vehicular traffic to be generated on a daily basis and at peak hours. Trip generation rates used shall be taken from the Trip Generation Manual 1991 edition, published by the Institute of Transportation Engineers. Trip generation rates from other sources may be used if the applicant demonstrates that these sources better reflect local conditions. 7.2.d.25, areas within or adjacent to the proposed subdivision which have been identified as high or moderate wildlife habitat by the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife or within the comprehensive plan. During the initial deliberation, the planning board waived 7.2.d.10 and 7.2.d.11. The other requests were denied. The other requests for waiver were denied. The applicant has provided adequate documentation on the other 2 denied waiver requests. The planning board found preliminary application complete at the December 5th meeting and set the date for the public hearing on January 2nd, 2024. The final application submittal was made and the application was found complete. The planning board held a second public hearing on April 16th, 2024. The planning board held a final review and approval of the application on April 16th, 2024. 11.1 pollution. The project is residential in nature and has not indicated that there would be anything that would create any pollutants from the site. 11.2 sufficient water. The project will be located on individual wells, so each home will be responsible for well drilling and water on site. 11.3 impact on existing water supplies. There is no public water system being impacted as part of this development. 11.4 soil erosion. The plans have provided adequate erosion control plans for the construction of the roadway. See sheet C300 of the plan set. 11.5 traffic conditions. The applicant has provided a traffic impact analysis prepared by Tom Areco of TY Lin Traffic Engineers. No deficiencies or level of service issues were noted in the analysis. 11.6 sewage disposal. The applicant has provided soils information completed by a soil scientist indicating that 2 test pit locations per lot were found and shown on the plans. 11.7 impact on the municipality's ability to dispose of solid waste. A private trash hauler will be utilized for trash pickup. 11.8.a preservation of natural beauty and aesthetics. All wetlands have been identified by a wetland soil scientist and mapped on the site. The applicant has also been working with the local land trust regarding all the backland being preserved with public access. 11.9 conformance with comprehensive plan, zoning ordinance, and other land use ordinances. The application meets the zoning for this area of town, which has been established based on the comprehensive plan currently in effect. 11.10 financial and technical capacity. The applicant is providing surety for the construction of the road. No work will be allowed to commence until they have submitted the approved surety. 11.11 impact on water quality or shoreline, not applicable to this development. 11.12 impact on groundwater quality or quantity. The amount of water used for residential homes is not enough to create a negative impact on the groundwater quality or quantity. 11.13 floodplain management. The application includes a FEMA flood map, which indicates this project is not in a flood zone and adjacent to a Zone A area, which does not have elevations associated with it. 11.14 identification of freshwater wetlands. The application has submitted medium intensity soil information from Soil Conservation Service, beginning with habitat, water resources, and riparian habitat. map as well as mapped on-site wetlands information, which shows all wetland areas in the immediate area of this development and potential impacts based on the site design. 11.15 stormwater management. The applicant has provided a full stormwater management plan with the pre and post storm analysis. All of the post impacts indicate that less water will be leaving the site than the current conditions. 11.16 reservation or dedication and maintenance of open space and common lands, facilities and services. The applicant has set aside 9.1 acres of land dedicated as open space, which will be turned over to the Arundel Land Trust. 11.17 compliance with timber harvesting standards not applicable to this application. This application is approved by the planning board on this day, April 16th, 2024, with the following waivers and conditions. I did already read those two. Conditions. Number one, the applicant shall provide a performance guarantee consistent with Article 13 of the subdivision regulations. Condition number two, the applicant complies with all written materials submitted to the planning board during deliberations. And number three, the HOA or road association that is being established shall be responsible for maintenance of the entire road from Proctor Road to the end. Current homeowners on this street shall not be billed for the maintenance of the street. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It is unanimous. Congratulations.
So the findings of fact can be signed tonight. Your plans are gonna have to be redone to include, under state law, to include the conditions of approval and waivers that were granted. So, you'll have to have the engineering firm add those onto the recording plan. So that when you record the plan, they'll sign them, whether it's in the next couple, once the plans come back. They'll come in and sign them, when they get a minute, and then you'll be able to take your copy and get it recorded in the registry.
Doesn't have to sign.
If they can, if the plan's back in the next couple of days, you know, Ann will just notify these folks and they'll make their way in. Hopefully, it's all done before the next planning board meeting. And you'll be all set. And you'll have, you record it. Yep, yep.
I'm on extension anyway. Me too.
Thanks, Mike.
So the cows come.
Good luck.
$11.
There's one. We'll pass the other one down the other way. How's that?
So they have a copy of that.
Hold on. I'd say when you come back in with the plans, Ann gets these, she'll hold them, and when you come back in, you'll get a copy. Well, yeah, it'll have the waivers, it'll have the waivers and conditions on it.
Basically, that is.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Try
Actually,
that again.
Bye now.
there you go. Okay,
You know, DJ's not here.
all right, you're welcome.
We,
Tom.
we need a DJ. I mean, he's been tremendously involved. I mean,
Okay,
it legitimizes everything we want to.
we have. What's all the copies signed?
Hey, Paul, thank God for you. I mean, really.
Trying to get to the point where.
I mean, that was it. That was the whole enchilada.
We have some plans that we have to sign for Lee J.
Sign this?
Yeah. Oh, we came back the other way. Oh, we must need two copies. You want it?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Lee J, you have some plans for us to sign?
Yes, I will leave them out here.
Okay.
So is this your last meeting, Lee J? You're gonna be hanging on your ankles. I don't want you to go.
No, it's not my last meeting yet. I'll be with you at least one more meeting.
Okay,
I have not set a departure date from my office as of yet. Because of stuff that we've got going on, so I'm trying to set a date.
And all this time, I thought they were gonna have to do a background check if we didn't want them to do it, find out if it had.
Yeah, so
Are we still,
Where's
You
the
still live?
other?
Yeah, we are live. You wanna end the meeting?
The other set of
Okay.
findings? Are they-
Paul has made a motion to adjourn. We can
Second.
adjourn and sign the paperwork.
I have a request, Mr. Chair.
Hang on just for a
I
second.
think we're off.